Hello everyone, it's Carol with Lauren Grant and Maya the Cougar here at Big Cat Rescue. And Lauren is handing out morning meds and some snacks. Maya's one of our most recent rescues. She just arrived here, goodness, a couple weeks ago maybe. And we're thinking she was 18 years old. We didn't look on the chart first, but I'm pretty sure she's 18. And while we were waiting to go live, she was hunting a squirrel, which was pretty remarkable for a cat her age. If you multiply their age times 6, that's roughly what they would be if they were people. So she would be like over 100 years old and still stalking squirrels. The squirrel was up on the roof of her cage and she was following it around and licking her lips and calling to it, which was not going to work. Hey, Matthew Barbario. I'm not seeing comments. I'm seeing people's names. Well, I'm seeing a few people's names as they join, and there's 442 people here, and I only see one person, Matthew. But hi, Matthew. Matthew's one of our regular viewers who does a lot of graphics for the cats, memorial items when the cats pass on and that sort of thing. Lauren's a keeper here. Lauren's been with us for about 9 years, and she's our resident Pokemon champion. She coordinates on Thursdays, so that's why she's taking care of the cats here on a Thursday. What our coordinators do is they coordinate all of our other volunteers. So here at Big Cat Rescue, all of the animal care is done by volunteers. We have about a dozen people who are paid staff, but those paid people only do administrative jobs. So all of the animal care and the coordinating of the animal care is done by volunteers, and that way more of people's donations actually go to the cats and not to salaries. So she'll be in charge of coordinating about how many people in a day?
If you include the interns, probably about 10 to 15.
That's amazing. That's a pretty big management job. And you're managing people that are working with very dangerous carnivores. Just one bite could end up costing a person or an animal their life. So they have to be very well trained, and they are trained to never touch the cats. That's why she's using that stick. Hey, Suzanne Mesna and Shayna, good to see you here. I'm not seeing any comments, so all of you who are regular viewers at Big Cat Rescue, please help me by answering any questions that you see. I see there's 629 people right now, and I'm sure they have a lot of questions about Maya Cougar here. You can find out all about her at bigcatrescue.org/Maya, M-A-Y-A. In fact, you can find all of our cats' bios online at bigcatrescue.org/catbio. There's about 70 cats who live here at the sanctuary. We're located in Tampa, Florida, and we're having a very chilly morning of 62 degrees here. We're all like wearing layers of sweatshirts and
It feels cold in Florida. It's cold here.
Had to trade in our sandals for socks this morning. Can you guys hear her purring? Cougars are the biggest cats who can purr. If I stick this in there, are you going to try to eat the camera? That would not be good. She has the good stuff.
I have the food.
Maya had been a pet for many years. Usually when people get these animals as pets, as soon as they get to be adults, which is about 1.5 years to 3 years old, that's when they end up getting rid of them, because they're just not, they're not pets. They're not handleable. They grow up to be wild animals. This woman actually managed to keep the cat for 18 years, but because she had some health issues, she was afraid she was not going to be able to manage her care. And so she asked if Big Cat Rescue would be willing to, well, actually, she asked if the Ohio Department of Ag would be able to help her find placement, and they called us and we took her in.
Interns with Gertie. Can you guys bring Gertie back to food prep?
Yesterday we had a really big day. If you guys were watching us live, we were live for about 3 hours in surgery with Noelle the Bobcat. We named her Noelle because all of you viewers out there were giving us name suggestions, and Holly and Noelle were the two most popular. So then we tossed a coin, or chose a, similar to it, a coin toss, ended up picking Noelle. I know, you're so pretty. She had been hit by a car on Christmas Day, and at 3 p.m. a family had seen her and contacted the police, and the police said they'd take care of it, but the family went back out at 9 p.m. and found that the cat was still laying there on the side of the highway. So they called Kristen Burford. She had experience with bobcats and lived in the area, and she went out and was able to catch the cat because the cat had 3 broken bones in 2 legs, front leg and back leg, so she wasn't able to get away. And then Kristen called us, and we had Dr. Justin take a look at her and stabilize her that day. And then yesterday, she went in for the major bone repairs, and it went very well. Took all of 3 hours, but really went well. So she's recovering in the cat hospital right now, and hopefully she'll be able to be released back to the wild. Who's next?
Mac.
Cougar.
Mr. Mac.
See if he'll come out for you. I'm gonna stand over here because Mac doesn't much care for me. You'll probably have to go to like the side over there. He's wary about me because the only time I'm ever involved in his life, since I'm not one of the keepers here, is usually if there's some veterinary procedure, or he has a favorite keeper named Matt who likes to come out and work with him. And Matt actually has to shampoo Mac because Mac pees on himself. He's so old, he's incontinent, and so he has to shampoo him and then rub it all in with a telescoping back scratcher and then rinse him off because we can't touch the cats, so he's got to do all that hands off to help Matt with his grooming. But every time Matt does that, then I have to come out and shift Mac over into one side of his cage. So it's like, is she going to try and lock me up? I don't want to be locked in one side of my cage. I want to have the whole cage. And that's one of the questions people often ask is, there's Maya in the background there. People often ask how big their cages are because you're only seeing this 2-inch by 4-inch screen here, and so people will be saying, oh, that cage is too small. His cage is, gosh, he's got 2 of them, so he's got probably 2,600 square feet. He's got like twice as much living space as I do, but we absolutely agree these cats don't belong in cages. The only reason they're in cages is because they were born in cages, and if they were born in captivity, it's not legal to release them. There's a whole page about all the reasons why they can't go free over at bigcatrescue.org/go-free. Also, if you want to see more about how our cages are built, they're all built in these big rounded sections. You can see it at bigcatrescue.org/cages. Hey, Pam and Lori. I can see you guys as you're signing. Well, I can see a few of you guys as you're signing on. 848 people live, and I'm only seeing a handful of you, but maybe that's because you're in my friends list. I can't see any of your comments, so anybody who knows us and knows these cats, please help everybody out with the questions. There are 5 questions people ask us all the time. They ask why they can't go free. They ask why the cats live by themselves. They ask why we don't pet them. They ask about our cages, and one other thing. I forget what the 5th one is. Anyway, this is why I created a page where all of those questions are answered. And you can get that at bigcatrescue.org/top5, TOP, and then the number 5. bigcatrescue.org/top5 answers the top 5 most popular questions that people always ask when we go live. I hear a tiger roaring in the background. Mac was a pet, and he came here many, many, many years ago. Once he got too big to play with, the person didn't want him anymore, and that's what typically happens. The reason so many of these cats end up in cages is because people will still foolishly pay to have their pictures made with a cub. And the people who do that say that they're doing it for conservation, but they're really doing it because people will pay to touch the cubs or have their pictures made with the cubs. And so they're just constantly breeding, mostly lions and tigers and ligers, for that purpose, and they can only use them for about 12 to 16 weeks, and then they end up discarding them, and they give them away to people as pets, because a big cat, a lion or a tiger, will cost $10,000 a year just in food and vet costs, so they don't want that liability. So they'll just hand it off to anybody dumb enough to take the animal. And then a year or two later, when that animal becomes an adult, they can't get rid of it fast enough. And so they end up in horrible conditions and just suffering their entire lives in cages because people pay to have their picture made, or because people share those pictures. Anytime you see somebody sharing pictures like that of people touching cubs, call them out on it. Tell them why it's wrong. And if you don't know why it's wrong, you can go to bigcatrescue.org/cubs, C-U-B-S, and that will explain why it's always a bad thing to share those photos or to participate in those photos. Anything left for Riza?
Not really. I do
All
have
right.
to try to give Mac his mush and his lockout though, because unlike Maya, he will not eat it off a stick. So
Okay,
he's
what is
gonna-
mush?
So our mush is basically our main carnivore diet. It's this stuff that looks like really bloody hamburger. It's kind of, we usually say it's like a ground up cow. It's got all of the vitamins and all the healthy stuff in it that they need to eat. So he really needs to eat it. So I'm going to put it in his lockout, though it looks like he's not going to want to eat it until we leave.
Okay, well, she will go ahead and do that. And I see Riza's just up on the hill. So we'll end up with Riza. She won't get any treats, but she got her breakfast this morning, so she's good. We didn't want her to see the bucket, just in case there wasn't anything left over. If those cats had not eaten everything, she might have gotten an extra bite, but she just had breakfast about an hour ago. We feed in the mornings, and then the keepers all pick up everything they didn't eat so that we don't have ants and rats and vermin. Riza! Say hello to everybody at the dodo. Rah! She's a chatty one. Yes, she is. She's so chatty. If I get a different angle here, you guys can see one of our new residents behind her is Manny, the jaguar. And Manny is so excited because he saw the bucket. Riza's 21 years old, so her sight's not so good, but Manny's only 11, so he sees that bucket and he's like, I could do breakfast all over again, ma'am. Well, I'm so sorry I can't see your comments. I'll try to go back a little bit later on. Today's the day that we shift cats on vacation. We have a 2.5 acre vacation rotation area for the lions and tigers, and they get a 2-week vacation out there, each one. And then we have a 22,000 square foot funcation for the smaller cats. And so every 2 weeks we shift the cats in and out of there so that different cats get a rotated vacation. And we're going to be doing that next. So I'll probably do that, and then maybe later on in the day I'll come back to the Dodo Impact and answer any questions that I might have missed. You can always join us over at our Facebook page, Big Cat Rescue, and we will try to get to your questions right away over there as well. Meanwhile, shout out to the Dodo. Thank you so much for having us this morning with Riza and Maya and Mac and Manny, and we will be seeing you guys again soon. Bye! Say bye, Riza! You're not saying bye, because you're a cat.